Headlines caught the moment, the subtext tells the story. A hit Netflix rom-com drops its second season, and in the middle of a sister-sister standoff, a single line detonates at home theater volume across the internet. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle become a punchline, a mirror, and a measuring stick all in one breath. It's quick, it's clever, and it's doing something larger than getting a laugh. Tonight, we're breaking down that surprising mention in Nobody Wants This Season 2, what the reference says about celebrity gravity, streaming strategy, and the royal couple's strange status as the culture's favorite Rorschach test. Start with the scene. Two sisters, Joanne and Morgan, trade jabs that are the show's specialty. Vulnerable, sharp, and armed with receipts. In the heat of the moment, one of them reaches for the most loaded shorthand in modern pop. Harry and Meghan. Not because the series wants a royal cameo, but because those names have become story tools. They compress ambition, envy, reinvention, and spectacle into a few syllables. It's the kind of name drop that lands like a wink, and then keeps echoing because everyone brings their own story of the couple to the line. Here's the first aha. This isn't random. Nobody Wants. This is a show obsessed with what people project onto love, how we borrow ready-made mythologies to explain our messy choices. In that language, Harry and Meghan are practically a unit of measurement. They stand for the fairy tale turned startup, the divorce from a narrative you didn't write, the afterlife of reinvention on new platforms. Invoke them in a rom-com during a fight? You've instantly pulled status, risk, romance, and media management into the room without a single exposition dump. But there's also a quieter meta layer, platform synergy. The couple build parts of their new media identity on Netflix. The show lives on Netflix. The mention ricochets within Netflix. That's not a conspiracy, it's a logic of the era. Streaming is where cultural universes collide. A single joke can feel like a crossover, even though the worlds don't literally intersect. What matters is the viewer's brain, which instantly links the rom-com you're watching to the famous duo whose doc you've seen, whose headlines you know, whose controversies your group chat never settles. The line works because the audience already did the homework. Let's put the show in its proper frame. Nobody Wants This toggles between sincerity and satire. It lives on tiny, well-observed truths, romance that's less fireworks and more calendar math, faith and family dynamics that refuse to stay off stage, careers shaped by attention rather than resumes. In that world, the Harry Meghan nod isn't a cheap shot. It's a shorthand for aspiration laundering, the way we wrap complicated desires in a celebrity success story. When Morgan defends herself, the laugh has teeth. It's funny because it's honest, and it stings because it's familiar. So why did this particular reference surge through entertainment media so fast? Because the couple occupy a rare pop cultural crossing. They're simultaneously royal, American, entrepreneurial, and polarizing. Most references age in days, theirs compound. If you admire them, the line reads as validation that their reinvention is the modern template. If you roll your eyes, it reads as satire of influencer ambition. Either way, the joke recruits you. It's interactive comedy, you bring your stance, and the scene pays it off. There's another reason the mention punched above its weight, the timing. Season 2 arrives alongside fresh coverage of the royals' evolving media playbooks. That keeps the couple's brand top of mind, even for viewers who didn't watch their doc-series. The show doesn't need to break news. It only needs to sample the zeitgeist, like a pop song that quotes an anthem you already love or loathe. In the attention economy, recognition is rocket fuel. Name a figure everyone recognizes, then reveal why your characters care, and you've engineered a two-layer hit: immediate laugh, lingering debate. Let's zoom into the craft. A reference like this works because it's placed at a pressure point, a tense conversation where insecurity is raw. Comedy at high altitude becomes anesthesia. You laugh, then notice the wound. Morgan in that moment is juggling image, intimacy, and the fear of being left behind. The line tells you she keeps a mental highlight reel of how it could have gone, the way many of us do. And the choice of Harry and Meghan is no accident. They are the modern parable of change your life, change your location, change your brand. It's the romantic imagination's favorite shortcut. Now take a breath and step outside the show. In the broader pop story, Harry and Meghan function like litmus paper. Hold them up to any crowd and you'll reveal the chemistry of that room about class, media, race, privacy, tradition, and ambition. When a rom-com dips that strip into the beaker, the reaction is instant. People write think pieces, headlines multiply, clips trend. Not because a line was mean or kind, but because it tested a solution we all keep mixing. How much of our identity is performance and how much is principle? The laugh already landed. Let's unpack the layers that keep it alive. Story logic, platform logic, audience logic, and how one reference can redraw the map for characters and viewers alike. The story logic. Why that line in that scene? In writing rooms, references are currency, and the exchange rate is credibility. Drop a name that feels opportunistic and viewers recoil. Drop a name that illuminates character and the audience leans forward. The show chose a flash famous couple because their public arc mirrors the sisters' private argument. Joanne and Morgan are negotiating status anxiety and romantic risk. Harry and Meghan are a high-contrast case study of both. A single quip opens a door to everything the show wants to talk about: reinvention, friction, loyalty, and the price of going all in. Watch the body language. The joke isn't staged as a victory dance, it's staged as defense. That's key. When characters invoke celebrity and self-defense, the writers are letting us see the scaffolding of their self-worth. The line is less about the royals and more about the human reflex to borrow someone else's narrative when our own feels shaky. It's funny and diagnostic. Second, the platform logic. Netflix referencing, Netflix. Here's the media studies layer. In-platform referencing. Netflix hosts the rom-com and also the couple's past and present projects. The line plays like cross-pollination without ever breaking the fourth wall. Think of it as ambient synergy. The audience's memory of the couple's Netflix presence leaks into this unrelated show, deepening the joke. Whether you approve of that ecosystem or not, it's undeniably efficient storytelling. Zero extra screen time, maximum cultural payload. Cynics will call it calculated, optimists will call it clever. The truth? It's simply accurate to how we live now. Our feeds blend docu-series, gossip, and scripted comedy into a single scrolling surface. So when a show invites the royal couple into a scene by reference, it's not breaking reality, it's mirroring it. Third, the audience logic, a reference that recruits you. The reference is a boomerang. The show throws it. We throw ourselves into it. People who admire the couple watch Morgan's insistence as the courage of reinvention. People who critique the couple watch it as the delusion of clout chasing. Same line, two truths, twice the engagement. That's algorithm native writing. In a media environment that rewards shareable ambiguity, the perfect reference is one that divides interpretations while uniting attention. And notice how the writers dodge cruelty. The jab doesn't mock trauma or identity. It needles self-mythology, a target that's fair game because all the characters do it. The show's ethos is consistent. Skewer the stories we tell ourselves, not the people we can't choose to be. 4. Did you know moments and quiet shockers? Did you know a well-placed real-world reference can compress months of character backstory into 5 seconds? Academics call it paratextual resonance. Writers call it mercy. Instead of inventing a fictional celebrity stand-in, the script recruits the biggest real-world example of reinvention after a royal exit. Boom! Instant stakes. Quiet shocker. The mention doesn't have to take sides to spark sides. In 2025, neutrality is combustible fuel. The line travels precisely because it doesn't tell you what to think. It trusts the audience to bring their case files. That restraint is rarer than you'd think, and more powerful than a lecture. Another aha. By placing the reference in a sisterly argument, the show turns a public saga into a private mirror. It's the writer's way of saying, we know you've argued about this too. Maybe not on a set, but over dinner, in DMs, on long walks where you rewrote your life out loud. The scene borrows global icons to illuminate intimate math. V, the ripple effect inside the show. What changes for the characters because the line exists? At minimum, two things. First, Morgan's insecurity now has a label, and labels stick. Expect future scenes to test whether she's chasing a feeling or chasing a story she thinks will fix the feeling. Second, Joanne's skepticism just went on record. That's a fault line you can mine all season. The realist versus the romantic, each convinced the other is playing with dynamite. If you're mapping arcs, put a pin in self-deception. The royal reference is a lighthouse. Boats that steer toward it are telling you something. Does Morgan navigate by borrowed stars, or does she learn to chart her own? That's not just a trope, it's the thesis of the show in miniature. 6. The ripple effect outside the show. Beyond the frame, references like this are marketing engines. Entertainment sites clip the line, social accounts subtitle it, and debates bloom. Was the show fair? Was it shade? Was it just a joke? The series wins either way. Viewers who care about the couple click in. Viewers who care about careful writing click in. And the algorithm, the only monarch that rules us all, crowns the clip for a day. But it's not just buzz, it's a statement of confidence. Shows reference the truly famous when they trust their audience to keep up. The writers are betting you know enough to get the layers, and that you'll reward them for respecting your intelligence. 7. Humor without harm. The line is pointed, not poisonous. That matters in a year where jokes age in hours and outrage is cheap. By aiming at projection rather than personhood, the show secures a moral center. It invites the laugh and the pause. Am I doing this too? Measuring my life against a headline couple I don't actually know? Great rom-coms smuggle therapy into banter. This one smuggles media literacy. It teaches you to ask, when I say, I could have been blank, what am I really saying? I could have been braver? I could have been luckier? I could have chosen differently? That's not gossip. That's introspection with a laugh track. 8. The broader royal lens. Why this couple still? Harry and Meghan endure in pop culture because they sit at four crossroads at once. Tradition and disruption, Britishness and American celebrity, privacy and platform, duty and autonomy. Name-dropping them is like naming a crossroads. Every direction is loaded. Even if you're fatigued by the discourse, the shorthand works because its ingredients are baked into the way we talk about modern love and work. They're also an unusually self-documented couple. Books, interviews, specials, podcasts. The archive is deep. That makes them prime reference material the way classic films once were. Once upon a time, you'd quote Casablanca. In 2025, you quote the most debated couple in the streaming era and let the audience supply the montage. 9. The craft takeaway for creators. If you write, study this moment. It demonstrates 3 rules of reference that land. 1. Placement over prominence. A single precise reference at a character's breaking point beats a dozen scattered name drops. 2. Mirror over megaphone. Use the reference to reveal who's speaking, not to announce the writer's opinion. 3. Borrowed myth over borrowed clout. Invoke a figure for what they symbolize in your story world, not because they'll juice a headline. That's how you keep the joke from curdling. It's also how you build a series that can talk to the present without being trapped by it. The goal isn't to worship the zeitgeist, it's to translate it into character. X closing this chapter. One reference, one room, one fight, and suddenly an entire ecosystem lights up. Royal debates with fresh battery, streaming strategy decoded in a side-eye, a character's wound named and stitched in the same breath. That's efficient television. As Season 2 unfolds, watch for echoes. Lines that test whether Morgan still navigates by borrowed constellations, and whether Joanne learns that skepticism is just hope afraid of being seen. If Harry and Meghan return to the dialogue by name or by shadow, it won't be to bait you. It'll be to measure how far the sisters have traveled, from projection to presence.